Hey guys, Shinlox here, back with our blind playthrough of The Longest Journey. Last time we ranted quite a bit, I guess. Not ranted. I don't know if that's a rant or not, but talked a lot about, female character design. Oops, sorry, Mr. Jack. And from 20 years ago versus today, as well as how women and society have changed. I guess women haven't actually changed that much. Well, societal restrictions maybe have. And here's Jack. Manny's right there, but Jack wants food. But he's a picky little man. He doesn't want to eat the food that was put out. Oh my goodness, you're a crazy man. Also, I think he's got a barf. Because he was licking some plastic earlier, so that usually means he has a hairball he's gonna try and get out. So look forward to that. Alright, so last time we learned we're basically in a dystopia, although it's not specifically going to say that. Right, mister? Because this access terminal was like, if you're not going to pay to use the voice function, then we'll send basically the FBI after you. And she's like, no, I don't want that. I used to know one of my childhood friends. Oh, so it is like a dorm. One of my childhood friends, his wife, ironically, she was named April. They're no longer together. They divorced, but she had serious mental issues, which not a shock. Had I known then what I know now, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to tell my buddy anyway, but the red flags were there. Very obvious. But whenever she would see she was like fat and her teeth were fucked up and like not attractive and just like, like a big baby, basically. But she would, anytime she saw a woman on TV that was anywhere near attractive, right? Especially in like a lingerie commercial, she'd be like, that slut! Like, she hated attractive women. And it's obvious, right? It's because she knew she was not attractive. And so what did she do? Became more of a child. She was a child. She's like, if it wasn't for this woman, I'd have all the guys or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you could just work on yourself. Did you work on your conversational skills? Did you work on becoming more feminine? Did you work on, taking care of your man? And because they had a kid. No, she actually like tried to freaking drive. She like tried to kill herself, actually, like by driving into a pole or into a light pole or something with her freaking kid in the car. Yeah, so anyway, that's women today, just barely hanging on. It's like, well, this is what you wanted. Sorry. All right, let's look at all these things. Right, Mr. Jack?
It's a chair.
You had to walk all the way over here to say that, huh?
We have a nice view of the bridges from this window.
Matchbook.
Emma picked this table up at a flea market for $10 last month. That's $9 more than it's worth.
It's amazing. And see, that was like 20 years ago where you could get a table for $10. Now it'd be like, who knows?
It's a matchbook.
Okay, we got matches.
The omnipresent screen. I don't pretend to know how it works, but all the data apparently passes through tiny little black holes in the fabric of our dimension. That really freaks me out when I think about it.
You know, they did mention something about that, I think, in the manual, that black hole technology. There goes Jack. I mean, they could just have one, they could call it just Wi-Fi, but, you know. Right, because this was in the year 2000, internet was still was there even cell phones? I mean, there were, but they weren't good and they were all expensive and stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay. Keep the volume down after 11
Be
p.m.
considerate. Keep the volume down after 11 p.m. Fiona.
Think note. Oh, we can interact with it.
I can't tell what that note's saying as long as it's up there. Fiona's handwriting is not particularly legible.
Okay, let's take it. Jock.
I'm sorry, but big sweaty jocks do not turn me on. I'll take a nerd any day.
That's what they say. That's what they say, but they're liars.
Annual summer blowout at the Fringe Cafe, Friday, August 4th, 8 p.m. Free food, live performances by Royne Dale, Harlequin Masquerade, The Go-Getters. Tickets available at the bar, $10 only. Spread the word.
Actually, I should let me clarify that, I suppose. Overall, women definitely prefer muscular, athletic dudes. However, there was a point when, like, Nirvana was famous and stuff. The whole, what did they call it? Like heroin chic. They liked the scrawny looking guys, but that was only popular for. It was the in thing, but it doesn't mean that's what women would actually choose. You know what I mean?
Pizza and movie night, Monday, July 31st. BYOS. BYO what? Soap? Look, it's Monkey Boy.
Okay.
Common Room Duty Roster, July 27th. April and Emma. Oh joy, manual labor, my favorite. San Francisco. I'd love to go there someday. Someday soon, hopefully.
Watch out for all the human feces. And man, I can't even, like, can you imagine that back in the day? Like, yeah, hey, in 20 years, San Francisco is going to be so bad that people are going to be pooping on the streets. Like, that's what? You know what I mean? Like how it, oh, right click brings up the, okay. Oh, I got a push pin too, huh?
It's a push pin.
Yeah, okay.
Found. A gold ring under the common room sofa. If it's yours, let me know. But no false claims, please. Fiona. I did lose a gold ring a few weeks ago. I hope this is the one. I'll have to ask Fiona about it.
Oh.
It's a matchbook from the Fringe Cafe.
Okay, can't use it with anything that I currently have. Shelf.
Shelves.
Where? Thought this was another screen, but okay. That's Fiona.
It's a chair.
Another chair.
That's Fiona, my landlady. She's all right.
Very strange. The whole landlady. Is it a dorm? Is it? I don't know. Who knows? Oh, neat.
Morning, Fiona.
Good morning, darling. You're up early.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep.
Are you feeling all right? You look a little pale.
I'm a bit off put because, like, April gets up and she's all chipper about everything, and then we go talk to Fiona and she's like, morning, you know what I mean? It's like, I had a bad nightmare.
I had a bad nightmare.
Again? Well, you're not the only one, darling. Mickey woke me up screaming in the middle of the night. She wouldn't go back to sleep until I made her a cup of herbal tea.
Nightmares?
Apparently. But she refuses to tell me what they were. I think she's embarrassed.
That doesn't sound like Mickey.
I know, darling. Don't tell her I said so. But I've never seen her so agitated in my life. She scared the hell out of me.
I don't know why I have nightmares. I guess they could be stress-related. After all, the exhibition's right around the corner.
Oh, yes, the school exhibition. How's that going?
God, don't ask. I have no idea how I'm going to finish my painting on time. I haven't felt inspired in ages.
I think you work too hard, darling. You need to relax once in a while. Live. Enjoy your youth. There's inspiration to be found in hedonism, you know.
No, I don't know, but apparently you do.
I'm an authority on the subject, darling. Ask Mickey. She'll tell you I don't lift a finger around the place unless I absolutely have to.
Yep. Oh, interesting. We have a different background. Is this related to what? Story related? I don't know. But yeah, the whole and I think that's kind of the big single women keep women single, but I think it's not even just that. Because at least 20 years ago, married women with kids, they weren't guiding younger women properly. They'd be like, enjoy your youth, don't settle down until you have to, blah, blah, blah. Because, it's like, no one likes adult responsibilities, but we understand, or at least I do. Adults do. But, the problem is, you tell women tell other women to squander their youth, right? Women are competitive by nature, but the way they're competitive with other women is they tear them down. And so I think the advice they give, is it intentionally, does it intentionally sabotage other women? Don't know. But that's what ends up happening. So when they're like, I think it's well intentioned, right? Because they're like, enjoy your youth, but it's like women are like cut flowers. Their beauty fades, or milk. The milk gets spoiled. Men age like wine, women age like milk. It's kind of that. It's like young women, if you're in the prime of your life, that's when you need to find a man and commit and settle down and all that stuff. I mean, that's not going to happen these days because smart, if women are smart, yeah, it'll happen, but you need to commit because that's the dude that's going to take care of you when you're older. It's it again, people are gonna be like, you hate women. It's like women's nature is to destroy, men's nature is to build, right? So women want to tear down everything. That's why it's the yin and yang. You need that, right? You need that. You need to verify that what you're doing is correct, but you can't let so much doubt creep in that it tears the foundations of things apart. But yeah, anyway, it's strange. It just reminded me, because like I said, when I was younger, I worked at McDonald's, and the older women there with kids, they're like, enjoy your youth, honey. Don't settle down, don't blah blah blah. They would tell women not to. They'd be like, oh, date a bunch of dudes, have fun while you're young, all that stuff, because then you don't have fun. But it's like, that's the time when it's like, this is the time when you're setting yourself up for the future. So it's like, to you, you're like, oh, you're telling women to enjoy their youth, but they're squandering the time that they have, right? Anyway.
Where's everybody this morning?
Mickey's tied up in the basement. Mind you, she's not literally tied up, of course, although that is a tempting thought.
Are you getting into your sexual fantasies here, Fiona? Because it's a little too early in the morning for that, don't you think?
Sorry, I just can't help myself. Anyway, the plumbing is... You probably noticed when you took a shower, yeah? There's no hot water. So Mickey's working on that. Getting knee-deep in putrid canal water is her job, thank God.
What about Charlie? He up yet?
No, he's still sleeping, and Emma just went to bed. I saw her come in when I was making breakfast. Do you know who she's seeing now?
I don't know. Some guy?
Those lads I see her with, darling, she's too good for those arseholes. I wish she'd find herself a man who'd treat her right for once.
She hasn't had much luck with love, no?
She's a magnet for creeps, and she's so pretty. They prey on her, you know, bastards.
I've tried to talk to her about it, but Emma's impulsive. She doesn't listen.
She's just as headstrong as you and me, darling, but I'm sure she'll be all right. She's smart and resourceful, and not afraid to speak up for herself.
So, okay, so our landlady, Fiona, is a lesbian. Apparently. I thought Mickey was her daughter, but no, it turns out, you know, oh, I'd love to tie Mickey up, and oh, but Mickey's her canal job, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's like, you know, that's fine. That's totally fine. And here's the thing. I don't know where the line is between being an adult, like just being able to have conversations like this, versus, because she was like, oh, Emma, she goes out with assholes all the time. It's their fault. It's like, no, she's the one that's choosing them. And moreover, she's probably attracted to assholes because that's normal, right? You think women are attracted to men that eat bologna sandwiches, the boring men? No, but those are the stable ones that you need to pair with to have a stable life going forward. But that's, especially with social media amplifies that, right? It's like people always post like, oh, this is me, this is my life, like the highlight reels, and women and people in general look at that and they think that's how society is or how it should be, when in reality that's probably like 1%, 5% of the time. You know, it's like I enjoy my job, but most of the time it's just you know. Some of the time it's actually fun, most of the time it's and I'd rather have it be boring than be bad or toxic or whatever. But yeah, it's like I would love to be in a society where you could just be like, yes, let's, oh yeah, you know, I tied her up last night. It was great. She enjoyed it, blah, blah, blah. But then they turn around and they're like, oh, Emma, she's always choosing assholes. It's their fault. It's like, no, you gotta, that's the problem, is you're coddling women. You coddle them, and then, you know, and unfortunately that's why a lot of women hate men. Because I'll say shit like that, like, it's her fault, and they'll be like, oh, how could you say that? It's like, because it is. Maybe she should peck better. But the other thing is, like, women love drama, and especially women, they want you to be happy and do well in life, but they don't want you to be happier than them or do better than them. Remember, women compete by tearing others down, not by building themselves up, right? You're gonna be like, oh, you're a misogynist. Okay. All right. Fine. Keep enjoying your life the way that it's going. Keep enjoying the, you know, women homelessness stats going up. Keep enjoying women life expectancy going down. You know, all that stuff. That's fine. That's fine by me. I'm putting my stuff out there. If you don't want to do it, if you don't want to listen, I'm screaming into the void anyway. But if you don't want that, that's totally fine. I'm going to take care of myself. You know, we'll see what happens. Anyway.
Shouldn't you be outside enjoying the good weather?
You joking? Bollocks to that. I'll stay inside until September, thank you very much. It's too bloody hot.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly, darling. About what?
Where's the other apartments, too? Anyway, doesn't matter. How do I scroll down? This? Ah, okay. Whoa. Let's just go down the list.
Tell me about Emma.
Emma? Why, she's your best friend, darling. I don't know what to tell you that you don't already know. You girls are so close.
That's true. The day we met, We clicked instantly. It was strange, but cool.
Like me and Mickey then, except for the sex, of course.
That's a pretty big except for Fiona.
Oh, I guess so. She's the crazy one, Emma is. Not crazy as in mad as a hatter, but crazy in a good way. Fun to be around.
Emma's always been a little weird.
Exactly, darling. She's a flirt, too, and the boys seem to drop like flies at her feet. No wonder. She's a real looker, I don't have to tell you. I'm sure she could have been a model if she'd wanted, but she's an artist, and a good one, too. I really think she'll be a successful artist. Her sculptures are getting a lot of attention.
Anything else you can tell me about Emma?
She ought to be a little more careful sometimes. She's a flirt, and although she doesn't mean any harm, some lads don't take too well to being teased and rejected. You should tell her that, though, being her best friend and all.
I have told her. She won't listen.
No. She does worry me a little, but she's a big girl and she can take care of herself. I'm certainly happy to have her living here. Next to you and Charlie, she's my favorite tenant.
Interesting. It is... It's interesting, though, because men and women almost talk opposite, right? So men will trash talk each other to their face, and then behind their back they'll be like, oh yeah, he's such a good dude, blah blah blah, right? Women, it's the opposite. Women will play all nice. They'll be like, oh, I love you, sweetie, kisses. And as soon as they leave, they'll be like, I hate that bitch, right? So it's you know, in this case, they're not being mean about it, although women can be. I've seen it. But, yeah. This all feels real. The dialogue all feels real, which is nice.
What did you think of me when we first met?
That's a peculiar question, isn't it? I thought you were quite lovely. I still do, darling.
Do you remember the day I arrived?
Of course, darling. It wasn't that long ago, and I'm not senile quite yet. It was in May, wasn't it? Charlie referred you to me, and you were quite at a loss. First day in the city, wasn't it? I remember. You looked like a lost puppy.
Puppy? Me?
When I saw you lugging that suitcase across the bridge, my heart went out to you. I'm glad you came here. You could have been lost anywhere else.
How long have you known Charlie?
Oh, he's one of our oldest tenants. It's close to 3 years, I believe, since he moved in. Charlie is always in a good mood, and he's such a gentleman.
I agree. He's an actual, genuine gentleman.
And you don't see a lot of gentlemen these days, trust me. You have a very good friend in him, darling. Perhaps even more than a friend.
What do you mean, more than a friend?
Not for me to say, darling. If you don't realize it yet, you will.
What's up with Zach Lee?
Zach? I think we both feel the same way about him, darling. He's not actually a bastard. If he was, I'd have had him out of here in an instant. But he is an arse, and a stuck-up, pompous, arrogant wanker.
My thoughts exactly. Aside from that wanker bit.
Still, he pays his rent on time, and he doesn't make a lot of noise. He keeps to himself. And most importantly, he's shit scared of me, so I can't just kick him out.
Yep. I don't know, yeah, I don't know. They're like, oh, he's an asshole and he's pompous and blah, 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 but, you know, that's the thing. Is he actually a good dude? I don't know.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Fiona.
Me? Why? It's not much to say, darling. I love my job, I love Venice, and I love being with Mickey. I'm a happy girl. Sure, sometimes I wish I could go back to England to see my family, but that's water under the bridge, so to speak. I'm very happy with myself and my life here in Newport.
Maybe we'll make all this episode just about Fiona. Because this is all exposition. And also, it's kind of nice. And here comes Jack again. Jack's like, Dad, I'm hungry.
How long have you and Mickey been together?
Mickey and I have been together since I was 19. She was in her late 30s then. The older, wiser, worldly woman. I found her sweet and charming and intriguing. When I finally realized she was neither of those things, it was too late. I was in love. She stole me away from my dreary British inner-city life, and she brought me here. She was no knight in shining armor, that's for sure. But she knew how to treat me like a woman.
You guys make a great couple.
You think so, darling? Yes, I guess we do. And the sex is amazing.
You never get tired of talking about your sex life, do you?
Never. And if I ever do, please shoot me.
Just be careful if you jump up here, Jack baby. Oh my goodness. Actually don't have a problem with lesbians. You know, if you want to be a butch dyke or whatever, that's cool too. It sounds like that's what Mickey is. You coming up here? I know you're coming up here. Stop playing like, oh, don't do that. Don't pull on that cord, you little man. But it's... Come on. There we go. See, you're a silly man. I remember this book that I read a while back, The Resilience Effect, I think. And it's basically the more... There's like this, like a spectrum on how you see life. You know, I don't remember all the details, but basically you want your perception of reality to be as close as possible to it. Right? Last episode I mentioned very briefly like the whole objective mindset versus subjective mindset, how people on the left, the farther left they are, the more their views about reality are subjective, which, not a shock, it's why a lot of them have mental illness and other stuff. But you know, because the closer to reality you are, the better, the more mentally healthy you are. You know, I'd rather know what's going on and basically work against the bad things, you know what I mean, than lie to myself. For example, you know, and she's happy being a lesbian, Fiona, Mickey happy being a lesbian, you know, happy being a butch dyke. That's totally fine. But if so many feminists and lesbians these days seem to be that they just hate men, and I think that's a problem, you know, because why bother, you know what I mean? Like, people accuse me of misogyny and racism all the time and whatever, but it's like, I don't hate. Like, people, I will let people do what they want, and I will, it's the whole adage of when people show you who they are, believe them. That's how I feel. You know? It's like, yeah. I don't know. I support your ability to do basically whatever you want, but don't expect me to allow you to do it, I guess. You know? You want to be trans, you want your certain pronouns, cool, but that doesn't mean I have to do it. You know, or someone else. You know, I'm very pro-freedom, but freedom that I give you does not restrict the freedom for other people. So, yeah. Like I said, it's very... whatever. Anyway.
Can you tell me something about the border house?
That's one of my favorite topics, darling. What precisely do you want to know?
What made you decide to run a boarding house?
That's a long story. One of the reasons Mickey and I got together was that we shared a passion for the classic English country inns. You know, quaint, weathered buildings, funny old ladies, and oddly suggestive names like the Lazy Cock.
So why come here to the big city? To America?
We wanted to create a place with a similar atmosphere and hospitality here in Newport. Like a safe house for people like you and I to call home, if only for a short while. So we discussed different options for a few months, and then we decided we wanted to start a boarding house for young, penniless students and artists.
You decided you wanted to do that here in Venice?
We knew that Venice was the place for us long before we came here, but the hard part was finding a building cheap enough.
And this building was available?
Not at first. Like most of the buildings in Venice, this one used to be a factory, but when we first looked at it, a local company was planning to turn it into a bar and nightclub. It was so perfect for our purposes, though, that we appealed to the Venice Borough Council, and after outlining our plans, they gave us the go-ahead at a reduced price, provided we kept our promises regarding our tenants.
So what I mentioned in the last episode about applying the standard equally and the answer to racism is not more racism. That's basically this, right? If you want the way you get slums is you allow crime to flourish, right? If you want poor, cheap areas that are also safe, you have to address homelessness and mental illness, and you have to address crime. You can't just say, oh, they're black, so it's cool. Let them go. No. It's like, you committed a crime? What race are you? Don't care. To jail. Or if you're violent and you can't be rehabilitated, then it's like we put down rabid animals all the time. Why should I care? Why should I put the rights of criminals above the rights of their victims? That's kind of my thought, especially when virtually all criminals are multiple offenders. So anyway, there's this. Yeah.
What inspired the name Border House?
That came quite naturally when we saw the place. It's on the border between two worlds, isn't it? Between Venice and the city itself. And at the same time, I also believe we're on the border between two more abstract worlds. Between art and spirit on the one hand, and science and technology on the other.
Neat.
That's very poetic, Fiona.
Yes, I've practiced. I may be an inner city girl, but I can philosophize and bullshit with the best of them.
Yeah, and it's probably a great summation of the theme of the game, presumably science and technology versus the spiritual.
Do you and Mickey own the place together?
We own it together, yes, and we've shared the responsibilities between us. Mickey takes care of the maintenance of the building, and I busy myself with the administrative tasks. I also take care of the day-to-day management of our tenants, like deciding whether or not to let someone rent a room. And, of course, the unpleasant business of booting someone out.
I thought you enjoyed that part.
Yes, all right. In some cases I do, but not always. It can get quite messy.
Thanks for the information.
I'm glad I could help you out, darling.
Tell me some more about the Border House.
What precisely do you want to know?
Yeah, I feel like
Thanks for the information.
Okay, cool.
I'm glad I could help you out, darling.
Okay, well that's annoying. They should have removed this option then if there's no more to do.
What can you tell me about Venice?
I don't really know much about the history of Venice. You should really ask someone with an interest in local affairs. What I do know is that this whole neighborhood used to be an industrial area, and that about 100 years ago they converted most of the buildings into residences for students and the homeless. And it's a nice place to live, certainly. Friendly people, liberal attitudes, great clothing stores, quite perfect, aside from that dreadful stench from the canals in the summertime.
What's the story behind my apartment?
Your apartment? It's more a room than anything else. Not much more than a large closet, really.
It's not that small.
It's one of our smallest rooms, but it's cheap, and it's on a nice floor. I hope you're happy there.
I like it. It's convenient, and it's got an interesting view.
That's nice to hear, darling. As for the story behind it, no unexplained deaths or hidden pirate treasures, I'm afraid. Just a long string of students on a tight budget.
Do you like Newport?
The city? I stay in Venice most of the time. It's easy to forget we're just a tiny little pocket in the middle of a sprawling urban wasteland. But do I like it? I think Newport is one of the great cities of our age. Love it or hate it, you can't argue with that.
And which one is it? Love or hate?
I haven't decided yet, darling. Ask me again in another 15 years. Perhaps I'll have an answer then.
Alright, so that is it.
I don't have any more questions right now.
Don't hesitate asking if there's something else you want to know.
I'd better get going.
Off to school.
Yeah, there are no more classes this semester, but I have to finish my painting by next Thursday.
For what it's worth, darling, good luck. And don't work too hard, all right?
You're so cute, Jack. You're so cute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you're all... Okay, we could leave. Let's go this way. And we'll save, and then we'll stop. And you just got all settled, and I gotta get up and go pee, Mr. Jack. I'm so sorry. Actually, let's check the inventory for... No, we've done everything, right? I didn't even click, which is nice. Okay, options, save game. We'll, They said there's 99 save slots. Hopefully we won't need that many, but every... Like I said, I'm trying to keep these a little bit on the shorter side because I don't know if it's going to crap out at some point. I half expect it to, just because that's what... OBS can be pretty temperamental with, especially with some of these older games. So, but that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I read all of them. I try and respond to all of them. If you have any issues with anything I've said, I do try and put my reasoning out there, so let me know. As long as you're in good faith, I'll answer it. Even if you are in bad faith, I'll probably give you a response before telling you to piss off or whatever. I don't even have to do that, though. Like, because bad faith people, they don't like the fact that they don't like their bad faith being exposed, and so it seems that after the minute I start telling them, hey, you're a liar, or I never say it quite like that, but I'm like, hey, you're being deceptive, blah, 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 blah. They, curiously stop responding, but, which is nice, because that's better than me not responding. It just feels impolite. But anyway, so what is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm going to say, oh, babies, you're both so cute. The fact that I have two kitties right next to me, that's pretty nice. Both my kitties. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, that's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.